Hi, this is Corey Franklin with Remembering the Past, the show where we talk about people who've died recently who've had a profound effect on our history, our society, or our culture. We're going to start out tonight with Adam Yauch of the Beastie Boys, also known as MCA. Beastie Boys were one of the seminal hip-hop groups in the United States. They were a group that put hip-hop on the map, started it into the mainstream culture. 1986, their album Licensed to Ill sold 9 million copies, made it to #1 on the Billboard charts. It was the first hip-hop album to do so. They sold over 40 million records in their careers. And in 2010, they made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Adam Yauch was a nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn, New York. Went to Edward R. Murrow High School. He became a practicing Buddhist. He became a big supporter of Tibet and a supporter of the Dalai Lama. Adam Yauch died at the age of 47, and here's a little bit of his body of work. This is from No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Here's a little bit from Pass the Mic. And here's one of the Beastie Boys' best known works, Fight for the Right to Party.
You gotta fight for your right.
Well, for those of you who follow our cultural trends in music, from the big bands to doo-wop to garage rock to surf rock to the British Invasion to heavy metal to disco to the 70s stuff, that's hip-hop from the mid-1980s. Well, not my particular genre. I say this, I do like it better than opera, and it works pretty good when you have a music video with it. In any event, it's a sad day because Adam Yauch died, and he had an awful lot of fans, and when you sell 40 million records and you make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you've accomplished something pretty good. And we should note he's one of the first Gen X rockers to die, not of an overdose or some sordid circumstances. So we say goodbye to Adam Yauch. He died too young. Well, I'm going to move on from the Beastie Boys to the passing of George Lindsey, who died recently at the age of 83. He raised a lot of money for Special Olympics, and he was actually an intellectual, but he will be famous on television for one thing. He was Goober Pyle's cousin Goober on the Andy Griffith Show. Here he is in his debut in his signature role as the dim-witted Goober Pyle. And he's doing a bad imitation of Cary Grant, saying something Cary Grant never even said.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Gomer.
Say hey to my cousin Goober.
Hey, Goober. Hey, Andy.
We was going to go to the picture show and thought maybe you might like to go too.
I can't, Gomer. I got to work.
It's a Cary Grant movie.
I know.
Goober never does miss a Cary Grant movie. He studies him.
Hey, what?
He studies him on account of he takes off real good on Cary Grant. Did you ever hear him take off on Cary Grant?
No, Gomer.
Goober, do Cary Grant for Andy.
Oh.
Come on, he ain't never heard you.
Oh, Gomer.
Come on, do it. You do it.
Listen, Gomer, if he don't want to.
I'll do it. Atta boy. Wait a minute, Andy. Close your eyes.
What?
Close your eyes. Listen to this. He's going to take off on Cary Grant. Go, Goober. Judy, 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 Judy. Couldn't you just swear Cary Grant was right here in this room?
Yeah, that was good, Goober.
Hey, sure was, Goober. You got to show me how you do that. Judy, Judy. I can't do it. Judy, 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 Judy. How you do that? Ain't he got talent? Goober, you really got talent.
Yeah, Goober, you really got talent. Listen, Gomer, if you'll excuse me, I got to get back to work.
Well, I'm sorry you can't go to the picture show with us.
Well.
But we'll see you. Judy, Judy. Oh, I can't do it. Judy, 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 Judy. How you do that? You got to show me.
was George Lindsey, a star in the 1960s era of hayseed comedies on CBS. We're going to close tonight with one of the great baseball players of the last generation, Moose Skowron. Moose Skowron died recently at the age of 81. He was a first baseman for the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the White Sox. He was a nice Polish boy from Chicago. He got his nickname Moose not because of the moose animal, but because when he was a young boy, he had a baldish haircut, crew cut, that made him look like Mussolini, and Mussolini was in power in Italy at the time. He went to Weber High School in Chicago, which didn't have a baseball team, but he was such a superb athlete that he went on a football scholarship to Purdue, where he became a great football player and a great baseball player. He had 500 in the Big Ten, and he was drafted by the Yankees and played for them starting in the 50s. So he was on the great Yankee teams of the mid-50s with Mickey Mantle, Whitey Ford, Don Larson, Hank Bauer, and Yogi Berra, and of course managed by Casey Stengel. And he was a World Series hero. He hit 8 home runs in the World Series. His most famous home run was a grand slam in Game 7 of the 1956 World Series. I'm going to play you a little bit of the clip of that home run, and then Moose Skowron, a year ago in 2011, when he was part of the White Sox clubhouse telling stories to the young White Sox about his home run against the Dodgers in the 1956 World Series and his run-in with Casey Stengel. Moose Skowron was known as a great storyteller, and this one is one of his best. Listen to the White Sox clubhouse crack up.
Hello, tomorrow. This is Ebbetsfield, Brooklyn. Today, the 7th game of the 1956 World Series. The Yanks and Dodgers go for the defending world's champion Brooks. First inning, 1 on, 2 out. Yogi Berra up. Yogi's blast sails over the right field fence, and the Yanks are off and running. Hank Bauer comes in to score, and right behind him is the Yankees' great catcher, Yogi Berra. 2-0 New York. In the 3rd inning, Yogi connects again, his 2nd consecutive home run, and again with a man on base. In the 7th, with 2 on and first base open, strategy dictates giving Yogi a free pass, and the strategy backfires. Bases loaded, nobody out. Roger Craig is the Dodger pitcher, but not for long, as Bill Skowron steps in. There it goes. It's a grand slam home run for Skowron, and the Yankees' 2nd grand slammer of the series. Runs pour across home plate like water over a dam. First Martin, then Mantle, and then Berra come home to score. And Dodger fans are muttering about next year. This year belongs to Skowron and fellow Yankees. The Bronx Bombers really blitzed the Brooklyns to win back the title they lost to the Dodgers in last year's Fall Classic. 9-0 the score, and 23-year-old Johnny Cooks in his first series start shuts the door on the Dodgers.
Well, that's the way the public heard it, but here's the backstory told by an 80-year-old Bill Skowron to a bunch of young White Sox in the clubhouse.
But as far as with Casey, I don't know if any of you guys ever taken out for a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 1st inning. The base is loaded. I'm hitting 4th. We're playing against the Detroit Tigers, left-handed pitcher Billy Heff. He walked a couple guys and then field hit. Bases are loaded. I come up to hit and I hear a whistle. I said, "You got it." I go to the dugout. Casey says, "Eddie Robertson is pitch hitting for you." Well, I threw the bat. I hit him in the shins. I was so pissed off, you know. I didn't even shower. Went to the hotel. The next day, get to the ballpark. Casey says, "Come to my office. I want to talk to you." He said, "Don't you ever show me up again. I'm out to win a ball game. I don't give a shit how you feel." From that day, I never said anything. Now, in the 56 World Series, bases are loaded again, and Campanella's catching. I hear a whistle. I said, "You got it." Campy says, "Moose, he'll let you hit." I go to the dugout. Casey says, "Take 2 shots to right field." Roger Craig was a right-handed sidearm pitcher. I says, "Okay, Case." So I go up to hit. Campy says, "See, Moose, I told you let you hit." First pitch was low and away, and I pulled the goddamn thing for a grand slammer. I come to the dugout. Casey says, "That's the way to pull that ball, Moose."
You can see why everybody loved Moose Skowron. One of the ironies is that after the 1962 season, the Yankees were getting old, and they had a new first baseman coming up, a kid named Joe Pepitone. So they traded Moose Skowron to the Dodgers. And on the Dodgers, he helped them win the pennant in 1963 and upset the Yankees 4-0 in the World Series, largely on the basis of Skowron's hitting. He was the leading hitter for the Dodgers in the World Series. He remained a Yankee in his heart, but he beat him when he was with the Dodgers. And, of course, the great pitching by Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale. There is a rumor, by the way, that the Dodgers got him through the help of a talking horse named Mr. Ed. Here is Ed's owner, Wilbur Post, talking to Dodger coach Leo DeRocher.
What's he doing here?
That's my horse.
For a minute, I thought it was Casey Stengel. Look, mister, you'll have to get him out of here. What did you say your name was?
Post. Wilbur Post. I'm the fellow who gave you that tip about Moose Skowron.
Now, Leo should thank Mr. Ed for that tip about Moose Skowron. Of course, Mr. Ed was duly impressed when Moose Skowron came to the Dodgers. Here he is talking about it.
Gee, I'm going to meet my favorite Dodgers. Willie Davis. Johnny Roseboro. Moose Skowron. And the old strikeout king, Sandy Koufax. Ed, you're a lucky horse. Let's go, Wilbur.
As a matter of historical import, just so you know, the networks, especially CBS, were using tie-ins with the Dodgers for some of their shows back in those days. Dodgers had only been in Los Angeles a couple years. There were a bunch of new sitcoms previewing for the baby boomers, and it was a good cross tie-in for both promotion for television and promotion for baseball. So you got a lot of that stuff with the Dodgers back in the 60s. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the only Obit podcast where you're going to get an interview with Mr. Ed on Moose Skowron. So we say goodbye to Moose Skowron. They don't make baseball players like him anymore. I want to thank my producer, Sid Tepps. And our closing song tonight is What Else? A little bit from the theme of Mr. Ed. Before we play it, however, I'm going to do a brief interview with Ray Evans and Jay Livingston, the famous composers who composed the theme song of Mr. Ed. Among their other famous compositions were Silver Bells, and we actually closed one of our shows once. We closed the Jane Russell show with their composition Buttons and Bows. Here are Ray Evans and Jay Livingston talking about the theme song to Mr. Ed.
How did Mr. Ed come about for you guys?
I don't know who called us. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Al Simon was the producer.
Yeah.
And this was for Filmways?
We wrote the song, and it wasn't Alan Young on the pilot. It was somebody else.
Really?
And I don't know. A horse is a horse, of course, of course.
What, did you see film before you wrote the song?
I don't think so.
No. I don't think they didn't have it.
I knew it was a talking horse, that's all.
So, do a little jingle, that sound like, write a song that sounds like a horse. Yeah. The jingle, I think that was written to lyrics. I wrote the lyrics, a horse is a horse, or something to that jingle, that kind of a catchphrase. And you took it there and did the 6/8 melody to that, and practically the same lyric was done as the dummy.
I said, I feel sorry about anybody has to sing this. You can't breathe. No place. Now they went to Rome to score the movie, the TV show. And they had an Italian opera singer sing Mr. Ed. Can you imagine how that sounded? And they came back, and they wanted to go in the air in a week. So they said, will you sing it to the track, and we'll get a singer in later. We got to go on the air. So I sang it to the track. It's been on there ever since. I never sing, I am Mr. Ed, and it worked.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed. You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this. I am Mr. Ed.